How much more students will be joining in general? Okay, let's start. Okay, so hello, am I audible?
Yes, Roshan. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. So hello everyone. How are you all? Means how is it going and all? You can give your reactions in the chat box as well. Means how are you doing? What all stuff has been going on in your cloud clubs and all those things. Okay, so coming to DevOps, so means how many of you from here are means any of the certifications level, or somewhat of cloud or any what of cloud. How many of you means if you're open, you can speak out as well or comment in the chat. So how many of you are well versed or just know the basics of cloud DevOps and all those stuff? Anyone? Okay. So yeah, so let me take this very interacting way, and I will not speak much. And let me just give you what all insights and what all to do, and what is the roadmap to go ahead with this particular DevOps arena or cloud arena. So yeah, myself, I am a DevOps engineer, and I've been doing my DevOps and cloud since my first year itself of my careers or academic careers. So all you are been in the third years or fourth years like that. So you should you can say that key first 2 years of your academic is very important, and you should grind that time. And as well, what we did is key first in my first year I pursued with Linux and RHCSA level, the basics. Then went to second year with cloud MLOps, DevOps, assembly lines, and all those hybrid cloud, multi-cloud. Then in third year, internship and projects were explored, and then in the fourth year, all the hackathons around will be explored. So that should be a particular path how you should go ahead. And if you've not started it, also it's no problem. You can do it with you can say good amount of months as you have hands, and your placement season is also coming out, so you have particular amount of time to go ahead with. So, coming to that, yeah, I'm V. Roshan Kumar Patro. I'm from Odisha, and yeah, you can connect myself over LinkedIn. I'm sending you the link in the chat box. You can connect me over there. So yeah, before starting, this was this, and yeah, means your college is good going, I guess, because cloud clubs are an important part of your curriculum, and most of the colleges are now trying to bring cloud computing as well in their curriculum in the academic years, but not a part of DevOps. So you need to learn other parts as well, because coming to machine learning, you learn machine learning, Python. So cloud computing arena should be also there in your academic curriculum. If not, then you should start learning out, because you can say cloud has become now a standard practice in the company. Whenever we going to give interviews in the placements and everything, they will be asking. So if in the JD or the job description, they have written that key. a Java is required, a language is required, and then cloud basics is required. So cloud has become now the, you can say, as standard practice. So just know first of all the basics, then you can go deep dive to going a DevOps engineer how to do that. So yeah, let's start some the session. So yeah, first of all, what is cloud? So cloud computing, right? So whatever you hear in the other definitions, forget it. So basically, cloud computing refers to remote servers. All right, remote. Cloud means nothing but remote, and it is physical there in the presence of data centers, right? So whenever you do consume a laptop, right, you're doing with RAM and CPU usage. So you are doing all your stuff like it 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM. So that is your personal hardware, right? So you are consuming that and doing the resource processing or anything like that. So simply cloud defines that key you do yourself, but those servers will be stored ahead in the data centers. Like suppose you take an example of AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. So they are not saying that key they don't have physical data center, means physical servers. All of them have physical servers, but they are not access to you. You will be accessed only to a platform where you can access them via any of the pricings or any of the low cost pricings, anything like. So cloud means remote servers, but not that key they are not storing as a physical servers. Physical servers are there right there in the data centers, don't confuse out. And the compute part, so always remember the compute part is your RAM and CPU. All right, so RAM and CPU process the compute part of the any of the hardware systems. So that's why it is said key cloud compute means providing you the RAM and CPU, that is the compute part, remotely, and you can say they are giving you as a platform or anything like that, so that you don't have to use your resources to doing the processings of any of the stuff, right? So this is the meaning of cloud computing. So yeah, this is the meaning of cloud computing. And coming to roadmaps and all those stuff, right? So just go for the basics part, and for the basics part you need first for that key should know Linux. How many of you know Linux over here? Just give a reaction or anything like that. All right, because it is in your curriculum, right? In Linux, learning Linux and basics of Linux, like any of the commands like cd, ls, ls minus hyphen ld, and all those stuff, like making directories, removing directories, going forward directories, psox, all those stuff. Yeah, that is a good amount of hands raised in your Linux. So that's good. So yeah, so the basic core of cloud learning is to be the hands-on with Linux. So Linux in the term says that key, every data center, if you go like in AWS, GCP, or Azure, so in their data centers or anything where you go, Linux will be their primary arena. They not work anywhere in the world. You will see that the main servers, even the Facebook servers, are made with Linux, because Linux is, you can say, as the most compatible and you can say attack free or anything like that. So always people prefer, and always big organization prefer Linux, and that's why it has become the core arena or core part of to learn from cloud. So yeah, I said two things will be required to learn into first the basics, that is Linux, and then is networking. So I guess you all have networking also in your curriculum, and like CNDC or anything like that. All right. How many of you know networking a bit? Raise your hand. Yeah. So yeah, that's networking like CNDC or any of the courses, like where they will be teaching you IPv4, IPv6, routing, DNS, you can say all those stuff, right? Static dynamic hosting and static routing, dynamic routing, all those stuff, because those are also basic stuffs of AWS, Azure, and GCP. Because while you will be configuring an infrastructure, all things you will be needing that key, how much subnet range you should give, how much CIDR you will give, right? All those happens, why means to handle your networking. And so that's why Linux and networking are the core pillars. So if you have any notebook, write them. Key for cloud, you just first, for the basics part, you need Linux and then networking. So those two are the major parts. Then coming to other parts. So I learned myself Red Hat Linux. There are multiple Linux available, Linux systems available to learn out. That is Debian or Red Hat type. So in the case of Debian, if you can go for other things like Ubuntu. So generally, you guys should means in your college they must be teaching you while Ubuntu, but we are teaching means we will be learning with CentOS and Red Hat. So anything like that, there is no conditions in it, but you should know Linux. So coming to that, yeah, networking and Linux. I guess yeah, yeah. So Linux and networking are the most two pillars. Then coming to DevOps arena. So what is DevOps? So basically, if you see in the networking world and the other cloud world, before time when DevOps was not there, so this was not a field actually. Actually, this was a part of network administrator or the you can say Linux administrator. So if you go ahead and see the roles, that is job roles that are given, you will be seeing Linux administrator roles, and in the line they will be giving you handler servers, handler pipelines, all those stuff will be there. But later on stages, the company and organizations becoming big, and they want specific team to handle the operations and handle the developers part to make it specifically routing for efficient level. So that's why they introduced DevOps. So DevOps is basically not a technology. Remember that DevOps is not a technology but a culture. Okay, understood? DevOps is not a technology but a culture. So what is DevOps in the sense when you say DevOps comprises of a set of tools which help you make the automate the process in the sense, suppose if I'm doing, suppose all of you know GitHub, raise your hands. Yeah. So whenever you write a code in GitHub, so whenever you write a source code in GitHub, whenever you do the things, commit it, then start merging it with the main branch or anything like that. So whatever you do, and then you connect it with the website. That key after doing it, if you open the website and all it does is show you the content of that page. So suppose take an example of DevOps tool like Terraform. So Terraform will help you do a one-click, one-show host. It will go to the GitHub, write everything, host your website, anything you want to do. So that process automation, that how it is done from you can say removing you from the manual tiredness or the fatigue. So that part of automation is controlled by DevOps. So DevOps is basically, you can say, a culture where number of automation tools are there, and you can learn and automate as much as the process wants or the organization wants. So yeah. So why DevOps arises? So what is the need of DevOps and all those stuff, right? So coming to why there is the need of DevOps, right? So suppose you are there, the developers part, make it two separate options, right? Dev is the developers, ops is the operations. So developers part you have other team, operations part you have other team. So in previous part where you will having if you have SLDC, that is software life development cycle, you see that the waterfall model, the other also models are there. So there is silos, there is the gap between developers team and the operations team. Suppose the GitHub developers has pushed the code, but the ops team has failed to check the code and made it to the product. So the for this reason the production site is server is down. Again the next the server will be checked that what happened, what the gap is coming out, and then they will go to ask for the developers that what have you done. So they will say that key we have pushed the code, but the ops team has not checked it yet. Again the ops team, if they will come and ask, they will say we received the latest code, we pushed it. So there is the new version error, right? So new version is not coming out with the ops team. So you see there is the silos. Silos is the term used for gap. So there is a silos between developer team and the ops team. So to comprise these silos, you combine the DevOps team. That is dev and ops. You combine DevOps team. So DevOps team is sitting there and making sure that all your developers and operations part are handling the operation successfully. The production site is always up. Then all the bugs that are happening, all those stuffs that are happening, all those automation stuff that I said you, from developers part to monitoring all those stuff, key server is down or not. According to that, the things are done with the DevOps team. So yeah. Give me a thumbs up if you understood what is DevOps first. All of you understood what is DevOps? Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, if you have understood DevOps, so basically don't if you've seen LinkedIn posts also and any other things, you see many of the other things as well, but don't consider that. DevOps is simply a culture, nothing else. Simply a culture, and you can say automating tools that are there to automate your whole process. Now coming to what you should do in what you do for a roadmap to learn and build with cloud or DevOps, right? To be a DevOps engineer or cloud engineer at certain level companies. So So yeah, if you see the strategy, there are multiple tools. But for first strategies, as I said, you first learn Linux, then come to Linux learning will be taking you around 2 months or 1 month at least if you go for a normal RHCSA level training, that is Red Hat Linux training. So they will teach you all the file permissions, what is handling the servers, handling the logs, what is that. So Linux will take you somewhat around 1 to 2 months of time. Then you can come with, as I said, you the main networking basics. Networking basics will be taking you as you can say another 1 month. So you can clear it with it. IPv4, IPv6, how to subnet, how to make CIDR ranges as well. And then come the main basic core tools of DevOps. That is, you can say Kubernetes. How many of you heard of what Kubernetes? Raise your hand. Yes, yes. So basically, what is Kubernetes if you see? So basically, Kubernetes is used for container orchestration. Container orchestration is the sense where container is used to manage, scale, productivize, and all those stuff, where you will be doing writing YAML codes to deal with that, and how to check with the containers, container logs, pods, all those things are there. So once you start with learning Kubernetes, then there is multiple way, like Kubernetes has deployment, service, PVC, PV, then daemon sets, and then you can say about other things as well, load balancing stuff. So those part are the basics of Kubernetes. So in the part of Kubernetes, you will learn that part also. So again, going ahead with that, Docker. Next thing is Docker. So as I said, you the word container orchestration tool, that is container management tool, right? So yeah, till now, any of you have any questions? If any questions, just come out from the mic and yeah, you can do that. Okay, no questions added. So yeah, so basically what I said is the container orchestration tool, that is container management platform or container handling platform, right? So whenever you say container management or container orchestration tool, container word is coming. So container word, what do you mean by container is there is a list of another things like how to deal with virtualization, how containerization came up, how it speeds up your OS, and all those things are there. So for containerization, there is major famous tools like Docker, and Docker is a technology. You can say that Docker is you can say that Docker is a technology. Containerization is a technology, but Docker are the tools. Docker, Podman, Cryo, these all things. If you, it means you'll be hearing it out when in the later stages. But for the most beginner part, you should learn Docker. So first I said Kubernetes, then Kubernetes. After going to that, you will need Docker as a container platform. Well, you will be launching how to enhance the pod, how to combine the pods, and how to host the two pods. Suppose you have a website, you have a database. Suppose you have a website written as HTML, CSS. You have a database that is storing all the users' data in MySQL format. Then you will be launching two containers, that is one is website and one is for database. This will be in a private network that is not accessible to the users, but this will be accessible to users. So this connection between these two will be handled again with via Docker as well, and these two containers will be handled by Docker as well. So you might be hearing and multiple terms about Docker as well. So this is the part where I said container orchestration, that is container management, that is scaling up, scaling down. So suppose take a website, suppose Amazon.com, right? Suppose there is big billion days going on. Everybody heard of big billion days, right? So big billion days is going up. You can say the normal rate of servers traffic is not that as much as in the days of big billion days, right? So the big billion days, when they come up, the scaling up is done, right? When the scaling up is done, why it is done? Because the servers say that key traffic is huge and we need to scale up servers so that we can route the traffic to particular site as well. So that time when you're scaling up, like when your customers are dealing with have very huge traffic, so that time the scaling up techniques are used, that is doing with multiple hosts, scaling up virtually servers. And after the servers will means after the big billion days are over, they will scale down accordingly. So that's how the container management platforms are dealt with, right? There in the, if you see blogs with Amazon as well, Amazon or Flipkart, they will be using in hand Kubernetes. So they will be using that for scaling platforms. And internally, the Kubernetes also uses, you can say, orchestration or the container D platform. So that is related to Docker again. So that part is done, Kubernetes, Docker. Then coming to third part, that is CI/CD. That is, how many of you heard about CI/CD? Raise your hand. Yeah. So CI/CD basically serves you as a container, you can say continuous integration and continuous development. So what does it mean and how does it relate to? So as I said you, suppose your Amazon.com is running, and suppose I'm, it's not like the we have hosted Amazon.com and there is no features coming up, it's stuck. So that's not how the dealt is there. We are continuously developing new features. You have seen like the mini TV has come, suppose the Amazon Pay has come, why and how they are coming. So continuous feature development is also going on, but the site is up. So that's how continuous integration, continuous development is also going on. Accordingly, if the production website is ready, they will be merged into the prod website. Like, when the developers part, suppose one feature is given, right? Suppose take cart feature, right? So the Amazon team has given the developers that give me a cart feature in the Amazon list, and they have started working out and they have started pushing the code. So and after they push the code or starting pushing the code, the testing will be done. The testing will be done, the unit testing, integration testing, beta testing, all those things will be passed. And again, those will be dealt with microservice. So why microservice is needed in services like Amazon.com or anything like that? Suppose take an example again of Flipkart or Amazon. You have suppose whole code written in one single page, that is monolithic. So if one of the code fails, that is one of the server fails or anything like that, the whole server crashes down or the Amazon.com crashes. And what is the benefit of microservices over here is you have separate places, like for sign in there is particular microservice, for card there is particular microservice, for login there is particular microservice. So again, what, suppose the code in cart is failing, other two will be tagging intact, like sign in, login, all those part will be there intact. So that's why microservice is handled while doing the continuous integration. So continuous integration is done with the part where GitHub developers are doing the code and developing the features, and testing is happening. The ops team is monitoring the testing and taking it to the prod website. So this feature, this is completely means you can say is continuous integration, means continuous feature developments are there, continuous feedback loops are there. Change this one, this site is not working in our pre-prod or not prod, non-prod mechanisms. So all these things done. After that, they will just balance it to the main prod site so that the site is not down. So that's how CI/CD works. That is continuous integration and continuous development. So for that reason, we have Jenkins as a you can say basic to learn. How many of you heard Jenkins? Raise your hand. Yeah. So Jenkins is basically, you can say simply if you say CI/CD tool, right? CI/CD in the form of very plugin based, or you can say plugin type of architecture. And now, if you see multiple scenarios and multiple CI/CD tools have become like Deftron, Argo CD, GitLab, all those stuff are there, right? But if you go to main basics core, you should learn Jenkins as well. So firstly, I said Kubernetes, Docker, then Jenkins. Then in the Jenkins part also, you will learn about how to make jobs, how to make the pipelines, right? So pipeline is the most important thing. So if you take the concept, what I told you, like GitHub developer do that, means the source code, tests it, the ops team monitors it with the beta phase, send this to the non-prod. The non-prod checking will be done. If non-prod is there, then production team will be happening to load it to the main side. So this part is set with a pipeline. Pipeline is basically, you can say that key particular set of number of jobs that is handled automatically. So in the pipeline, you will be mentioned that as soon as the code from the feature is pushed to the GitHub, what it will do, Jenkins will do that key trigger the pipeline for the testing part. It will automatically test the feature code that it is working properly or not, doing the Selenium testing or not, anything like that. So after the testing part, it will send automatically to the ops team. Then ops team will be handling and sending the review that key we have checked the code and send it. So again, Jenkins will receive the request that yes or no request. Then if the yes is done, then it will forward to the non-prod testing. Non-prod testing, again, the signal will be there. Some scripts will be there in Jenkins file that it will check with the non-prod thing to produce in the prod side. Again, so that part, if you see, if you just go and scroll with Jenkins blogs, you will see that's how the pipeline is dealt with. I'm saying in a layman terms, but there is much more ahead with new technology and new jobs as well. So that's how, you can say as pipeline is dealt with in Jenkins. Pipelines, agents, extensions, plugins. Jenkins is basically working ahead with plugins as well. Plugins architecture is highly dependent with Jenkins. So coming ahead with that, Kubernetes, Docker, Jenkins. Then coming to that, we have Terraform. So as I said you, whenever you do the things, you are doing it all manually. Like this is pushing the code, this is checking the team, this is pre-prod and non-prod, and all those stuffs are there. All those things are done manually. Now Jenkins automates particular amount of code, but also there is manual stuff present, like the manual ops team will be sending yes or no checklist. So again, to automate that, Terraform behaves as a IaaC tool, that is infrastructure as a code. Suppose I'm launching an infrastructure, like I have these all resources. I'm doing AWS EC2 and hosting, you can say load balancing, all those stuff. So Terraform, what happens is write the code of all these stuff in one single file. So starting from the developers, the testing, the ops team, the pre-prod, non-prod, all those things. In Terraform, you will be writing a single file wherever you will say Terraform create or what the other commands are there. So whenever you do that, it will host your entire architecture in one go. So what you say is key automate the automation process. So Jenkins has automated some of the process. Now Terraform will automate the again the automated process. So automating the automating automation process is, you can say, the work of Terraform. So that's how you deal with Terraform as well. Then coming to basics of DevOps, these tools are basically the, you can say, DevOps basics. Then coming to other things as well. So how many of you understood all the tools that I explained you? Raise your hand. Yeah. So as you know, means these are all the basic stuff. If you take around a month's time of 6 months at least, 6 months or 7 months, you'll be well traversed with the basic core knowledge of fresher DevOps that they are taking in the interviews, like you can say AWS or GCP or Azure. So I have not talked about the cloud. I will talk about it now. So DevOps arena, these tools are there, and after these tools, you have cloud, that is learning about of cloud. After you learn these all four techniques, these cloud learnings will be very easy. And let me say you one concept of cloud. So basically, whenever you see AWS or GCP or Azure, suppose I have in AWS one service is there, Elastic Kubernetes Service, that is EKS, and in GCP that is there at GKE, that is Google Kubernetes Engine, and in Azure that is there for Azure means other things as there other service. So what I said, keep understand the basic concept, that is Kubernetes. So for Kubernetes, the three services name will be different, some architecture will be different, but if you learn on one cloud, that is stick on one cloud, that is for beginner purposes, it is AWS cloud. So if you learn EKS, then going to see GK will be not be a problem. So this is how you'll be learning multiple clouds, that is architecture of multi-cloud, right? And why nowadays hybrid multi-cloud is preferred? Because hybrid multi-cloud prefer is, you can say, suppose in GCP the GKE part is better, in AWS some part is better, in Azure the AI part and the, you can say, OpenCV part is better. So all companies want that we should not stick it to one cloud only, but we should combine them all the services and use them widely. So that's how you deal with multi-cloud. Whenever you deal with same public providers, whenever you deal, like you deal with AWS and GCP, that is known as multi-cloud. Whenever you combine public and private, that is, you can say that key hybrid multi-cloud, that is hybrid cloud. Suppose we have in private cloud, we have OpenShift, OpenStack. So OpenStack is a private cloud that is giving you to host your own cloud and do whatever your network routers or network adapters you have, and you will hosting your own cloud as well. So in that part, if you see, you're using private cloud and public cloud. Public cloud in the sense that is accessible to users and you, that is you as a user, like you are using AWS. So that is going under public cloud. So whenever you combine public and private cloud, it is known as hybrid cloud. Whenever you combine different parts of the public cloud, that is multi-cloud, right? For GCP and AWS, it is just under public cloud only, so it is there is multi-cloud. But as I said, if I'm working with AWS and OpenStack, so one is from private and one is from public, so that is known as hybrid cloud. And whenever you use multi plus private, then you can say as ki I'm working with multi-hybrid cloud. That is or the hybrid multi-cloud. So company are generally doing with dealing with hybrid multi-cloud. They want to deal with all this stuff. So that's why I said ki, if you know the first the concepts, then going from EKS to GK, that is Elastic Kubernetes Service, and here it will be there as GK. Nothing difference will be there. Like nodes, cluster, node groups, all those things will be same, right? Yeah, means these all are the, you can say, as basic DevOps stuff, and you can say the roadmap to DevOps. You can connect me over LinkedIn, like to know more what to do with, how to learn with DevOps sessions, and I will be giving you the resources if you need how to learn and where to learn. For Linux also, I have means good resources. So yeah, uh, how many of you enjoyed the session? Just raise your hands. Okay. So yeah, this is basically the part that key you will be seeing in LinkedIn or any of the stuff where AWS certifications, GCP certifications, all those stuff are right? Certified Solutions Architect, or in GCP there is Associate Cloud Engineer. So all those stuff are secondary. Means if you will go to a company, they will sponsor you to do those certifications. But if you don't have a certification, there is no worry of it because you know the things, right? Certification does not carry you can say initial stages, but after certain time it will carry a particular way, and you will crack those things after going into company as well. And before company, if you are getting if you are having learnings and all those things, you are going ahead with the certifications before companies as well. So if you're getting a chance to do the certifications, do the same. And if anyone needs to do learn with more certification, how to enroll with certifications, AWS CSA trainings, and all those things, I am also there because I am an official AWS community builder. So We are part of AWS team where we handle AWS project parts and all those stuffs also, and it is open source. Then coming to community wise, start contributing and start learning with. How many of you heard of GSOC, that is Google Summer of Code? Yeah, very less may have heard about that, because those are open source contribution. So start learning with open source contribution as well. Means start contributing after learning those stuff like what I said: key, DevOps, cloud, Linux, Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, Terraform, all those stuff. So learning after all this stuff, you can go ahead with exams as well, and also to community contributions like making videos, blogs. Whenever you do a LinkedIn post, suppose you have learned Kubernetes one part, so make a project, make some tiny bit, post it. I will tell you, whenever you do the things regularly in LinkedIn, they will catch attention of any of the teammates or any of the things of new companies as well. They will connect you and ask you for doing that. So yeah, recently my friend is a DevOps engineer. He was contacted by Google Cloud team expert for a blog, right? He wrote a blog, and Google Cloud contacted him to write some new blogs, and they are working with that team as well. So Google Cloud is very, you can say, when you're contacted by Google Cloud, that is a very amazing opportunity. So yeah, those are the things, and yeah, this much is the session for me. You can connect me over LinkedIn. I have sent you the link in the chat box. So yeah, you can go ahead with connecting me, and yeah, best of luck to all. Yeah, Jensen, I'm handing over to you.
Yes, Roshan, thank you. Guys, if you got any doubts, you can ask them right now.
Yeah, if you have any doubts, just open up your mic and speak.
Well, okay, let me start that off. I've got a small doubt, Roshan.
Yeah,
Okay, so I had noticed in your LinkedIn that you were doing DevOps engineer internship at SAIF, remote
yeah,
internship. Okay, so how
yeah.
did you exactly land that internship? Because I'm also on the lookout for remote internships and I'm not able to find stuff.
So basically, when you go to remote opportunities as well, right? Remote opportunities. I have a friend in DevOps, that is means all times wherever we're learning from one vendor. If you know Datta, I was the student of him, so we were having all those groups and all those stuff. So we were in contact of any of the individuals that are in different companies. So what we did, or what we generally do from LinkedIn, we contact to the team or DevOps team directly, or the manager directly, not to the HR. Contact the DevOps team members or the management directly. Suppose you have Amazon.com, you want to join Amazon as a DevOps engineer. So contact the DevOps manager, detail manager is there, or development member, right? I am so and so, I am doing much stuff and I've done this much stuff. Send them a connection link and add a note. He, hello, my name is this. I am doing